I was there for 3 days. We had a lot of success coming from that. Excited to cover that. It's been interesting, man. Interesting week.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited to hear about that. I want to hear what kind of deals went down at the boot camp. So you're back in California now?
Yeah, I'm back in California. Anthony's still actually running it. They're still texting. I'm still getting messages that they're still running. So they're still running. It was my wife's birthday yesterday, so I had to come back in town today. But
that's important.
Yeah, we had a guy lock up a deal in California. It was like a 1 acre lot for 15,000, and it's worth 40. So he's hopefully he might want to finance it, make some money there, or sell it cash.
Nice.
We'll see what happens. But he locked that one up. We got an appointment yesterday to go walk. I think it was like 7 acres in San Antonio. So we all targeted San Antonio. He targeted Cali because he had some leads there. He actually got it off his HiveMind free list that everybody gets. Boom. So some results from that. It was interesting spending time with people from different experience levels. Helping Loretta, Sonica, Abdul, John, and Rosa. Those definitely good experience. But yeah, we had a good time. I had a good time while I was there. We got a lot of stuff done. Showed him how to use the system. We covered a lot of real estate stuff. Bhaskar came in town, taught some system stuff, and how he's doing deals. But it's interesting to see how people use the system in different ways. So it's always having an interesting conversation, because I use it completely different than everybody else does, and Bhaskar uses it completely different, and Evan and Gerard use it completely different than us. So it's kind of cool seeing different perspectives.
It's pretty versatile, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Super. Well, I'm gonna mute myself here. I got to go pack up some tools here. Truck's running, getting ready to pull out.
You're good, man. You're good. We got you.
All right. I'm gonna be here, but just listening.
You're good. You're good. Hey, Santana, are you there?
Hey, what's up, Daniel?
Santana, let's talk about your first wire that came in, man. Let's talk about your first deal.
Oh yeah. So it was 3 lots. It was inherited by my brother and sister. They've had it for 20, 30 years. They've never seen the properties. They never had anything to do with them. They're just something they got. They live in like Utah and Illinois, so there was no chance of ever going over there. Lots were in Florida, all right next to each other. So I ended up getting a buyer for all 3 of them. And we closed on that earlier this week. I got my wire through, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And it was pretty good. I got them for $12,000 and it went for $30,000 for all 3 combined. So it was a good little piece for my first deal. Helps cover some marketing for a while and stuff like that. So
you could count it as 3 different deals because it was 3 lots.
True that.
3 lots.
I look at it like that. I got 3 more locked up from the same owner today just by paying her property taxes on due. She's just going to give them to me.
Oh, nice. How much was that?
So 1,000 in taxes, and I've talked to her probably 8 times on the phone, and we've only talked about the properties like the very first call. She would just call me and just start having a conversation with me just to talk to me. And she messaged me because I was going to give her a little bit extra. She was like, she's from England originally. She's like, something came up and I have to go back to England for a while. So if you'll just pay these taxes, you can just have all 3 of them. So for the
how much was she delinquent?
It's going to end up costing me about, so she had originally got him with a business partner and he's supposed to be taking care of him. Long story short, he wasn't. She got her attorney to get everything in her name and it was $4,000 that she owed her. She's going to lose it. And with all the comps, it looks like I'll be able to, for the 3 combined, about 28. So it's looking at like around 20, 22 profit off of it.
Out of $4,000, not even going to the seller, going to the state.
Yep, exactly.
No, it's good, man. Congratulations, man. Those are all virtual too in Florida, right?
Yes, all virtual. With the help from DeAndre, helped me on them. Frank helped me on my first one as well. And of course, Anthony's been walking me through every step along the way.
Boom. I'm happy for you, man. Good job, Santana.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And quick, how long you been doing this? Maybe like 3-4 months, 5 months, 3 months?
About the last week of December. So going on 3 months.
Boom. 3 months, 90 days, or a little over 90 days. Congratulations, man. No, actually, it is under 90 days because end of March would be 90 days. So definitely under 90 days. 3 deals in under 90 days. Look at that. Congratulations,
All thanks to
Santana.
the
That's
help
awesome.
of the, wouldn't have been possible without the help of the community, of course. So anyone else just starting out, definitely reach out to people. They'll walk you through it, and with open arms, it's amazing.
Yeah. Congratulations, Santana. I'm very happy for you. To the hundreds more in your lifetime, you know? This is just the beginning, Santana. So there's a long road ahead of you. I hope too much success to you, Santana.
Definitely, I appreciate it. Looking forward to the future.
Hey, John Alexander, you remember your first 3 lots you ever did? Probably not.
Yeah, you never forget the first one of anything, really.
Yeah. John Alexander's probably done a million, thousands of transactions, not a million.
My first lot was actually it was a group of lots because it was half
same thing.
it was a half a subdivision. But it was 1982. But yeah, you never forget it. So Santana, when you're like me turning 64 in a few months, you're still gonna remember that these first deals like they were yesterday, and the numbers and everything about them. Really, I mean, you never forget it. Yeah, so cool.
That's amazing. Thanks. 1982. Whoa.
40 years later, I'm still doing real estate, still mainly doing lots. I've done everything in between, but last 8 years have only been lots. I haven't even flipped a single house. Well, one, but it was for family, so it didn't count, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't even want to mess with houses anymore. I was talking with a guy today. He just bought 500 lots and going to flip them. So look, and he's only like 35, but he's putting us all to shame. But look, that really tells us, right? That tells us where you can go with this business. If you get after it, get serious, stay focused, and build.
Build. And be consistent. Consistency.
Yeah, be consistent.
Consistency. 1982. Congratulations on 40 years being an investor, John Alexander. That is a small feat.
Hey, thank you, Daniel. I intend to have another 40 years. So someday I'll be on this podcast saying, hey, I've been at it 80 years.
That'd be a conversation for sure. That's awesome. No, man, it's very interesting to see. Like, times have changed, but not really. People are still, John Alexander's still doing lots 40 years later. Santana,
and it's the same. Daniel, it's the same concept. What did we do to find that lot 40 years ago? Go to the tax record, make contact with the owner, track them down, call them on a phone, offered an owner financing deal. They said yes. Boom. Immediately go in, put up a sell for sale sign on the property, and sold them all out in 30 days. And we did it in the worst economy ever. We had back then, this was the Jimmy Carter years and Nixon years, where they had enormous inflation back then, just like we're about to have right now. And houses stopped selling at some point, but land never stopped. In fact, it got better. So the worse it got for the housing side, the more the land got better, because people were telling me back then, I can't afford a house. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy land, get it paid off. Hopefully, eventually, then I can build a house on it. So that's where the mindset goes. So we're in it for the long run. You guys can take this business and do it as long as you want. My dad was doing lots back then, and he did them for till he died at age 89. He was still doing them only because he loved it, but he made millions doing it. And you guys can too. Near the end, all he was doing was he'd buy a couple 5-acre lots, 2 or 3 a year sometimes, and make 30, 40,000, and he was fine with that. That was his retirement and his fun time.
that was his part-time job, was flipping a few lots here and there.
Yeah, it kept him going. All of his friends, it's funny, all of his friends died off. They were like one other guy his age and him. That was who was left. And I truly think it was because he loved this business. It was easy to do. In the end, he was in a wheelchair. He had diabetes in the end, but he was still flipping land, because you can do this. Really, I mean, anybody can do this.
Anybody can do this, and there's plenty of it. I was talking to somebody about flipping land the other day, and I was like, yes, there's only so much of land that can always be cut up into smaller pieces. No matter how big it gets, no matter how big or small it is, it can always be cut up into a smaller piece. Because like out here in California, I mean, it's like tight. They'll build it's crazy to me for people that don't live in California or really dense populations, that they'll buy like a 5-acre lot and then they'll build like 20 houses on it. I'm like, what the heck? And it's all the neighbor's house is 8 feet away. They have like a 4-foot path between each one of them, take the trash out, and that's about it. And then the back of the house is literally a fence to the other neighbor's house. And it's just the density is crazy out here. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So any open land you get is worth a lot of money, because they can potentially build a few houses on them, So to the right person, they're worth a lot. So land is such an amazing space to be in, and limitless opportunities. Limitless opportunities. I appreciate everybody coming out today, man. It's been a good day. Anybody have any like big wins this week? What are some big wins that you guys had this week that you want to share with the group? I kind of started off it, didn't really mention it was a win, but the boot camp was a win. We're helping people get some. We helped one person get a contract. We're doing an appointment tomorrow with somebody from the boot camp, and then I didn't get an update from today because I left early yesterday. But it's been amazing seeing people go from zero to getting a contract pretty quick. So, and learning the system pretty effectively too. I try not to overwhelm people by doing too much in the system, so I just teach them how to text and then go from there. But it's just trying to get people into moving forward versus getting lost in the weeds. So don't ever get lost in the weeds. There's plenty of things to get lost in the weeds for and about, but don't do it in the system. We want you to get your first deal. We want you to get a deal as a whole, and we want you to get multiple deals per month. So a big win that I saw from one of our users is he doesn't come to the weekly calls, but I'm gonna shout him out, is Elijah Bryant. We did a Meet the Hive with him a couple months ago. And I want to say it was back in August. He did like 25 deals. He posted, I think it was Monday or Saturday or Sunday. It was a few days ago. He had his 100 transaction doing land info lots. So it's kind of cool seeing people get traction, and a lot of traction quickly. So that's another win I have. That's not even mine. It's a win. It's a win seeing it happen. And I wish everybody here success. And I want you to become Jen Alexander at 40 years from now, after doing land for so long.
Hey, Daniel, I'll shout out a win too for one of our members, Ambrose. And of course, most of us know Ambrose. He's been with us from day one. And he got started with us, right? He'd never done any kind of flipping before. And he reached out to me, I think, on his first or second deal. I was helping him with that one. But what happened was he had reached out at the same time he was flipping. He flipped that one, and he made a pretty good profit on it. But at the same time, he had reached out to the other people next door to him, and they said, "Yeah, we'll sell." And it was like brothers and sisters up in New York and all over. And so they all kind of came together and said, "Yeah, we'll sell our lots." And there was like 4 or 5 lots together, but they were kind of separated in the subdivision. So he didn't have a buyer right then, but yes, a couple of days ago, maybe 3 or 4 days ago now, he reached out to me. He said, "Hey, John, I got all those other lots sold." So it was like, he wasn't even planning on doing it, but a buyer showed up, right? So the more connections you make, and that was him. He made He made a connection with a realtor, and the realtor brought in buyers for all the other ones. And now he reached right back out to them, and boom, put the deal together. Big win.
And I'm muted. That's amazing, man. Amber's has come a long way. We actually did Meet the Hive with him back in Dallas last August. So he's been with us probably since July, I would say June or July. Justin Long says, I'm closing on my first rental property of the year, starting my first marketing campaign on the Hive. Justin Long. There's a win for Justin Long. Appreciate that. That's awesome. That's amazing, man. It's cool to see people get traction. And like I said, I say this quote all the time because I saw it online. It's that nobody wants to see you win more than a random stranger on the internet. So I really want everybody to succeed. I really want everybody to win. I really want everybody to get some deals. We're locking in hopefully our event date pretty soon for Fort Lauderdale. So we're gonna have a Fort Lauderdale event this year in August, end of August, early September. Still locking in the dates, but that's gonna be in a few months. What is that, 6 months from now? So we're excited about that, man. And excited to meet new people, meet new Hive members, and just meet the Florida community. Because that's one of the things that we like about where we're doing the events. It's more where people are located at. So we did it in Dallas our first year just because we have a lot of people in Texas. So we chose a central location in Texas. But now we have a lot of Florida people, so we're gonna go to Florida, Hive Mind event in Florida. So it's exciting to kind of move across the country in different areas and locations to help and meet new people and meet other like-minded individuals in the space. I love it. I love the opportunity, man. We actually have tickets available right now at thehiveislive.com. Just go the Fort Lauderdale event.
When does that happen?
It's going to be last week of August or first week of September.
Oh, nice.
Well, we should have the dates locked in very soon. That's why it says to be determined. But it's definitely going to be in Fort Lauderdale. We have a really awesome venue over the ocean that we're excited about. So it's going to be awesome.
Can I just say, Daniel, that all the years that I've been doing this, there is no doubt at all when I tell you this, that if you're just getting started and maybe it's your first year or 2 or 3 years, because that's still the beginner stage, there is nothing that will propel your career in this industry faster, better than networking by going to events like this and connecting with people live one-on-one. We call it belly button to belly button. Nothing like it. So if you want to take off, you need to take off and go to Florida for sure to this Hive Mind meeting. That's where, man, so many connections get made, and they get made for life too. I mean, it doesn't just stop. I mean, I'm still connected to people from the mid 90s, and I just started teaching nationwide in the early 90s, and I still connect constantly with people. I just talked this week with somebody, and I said, how long have we known each other? Because I just couldn't remember because it's been so long. He says, yeah, it was like 1996 or something like that. I go, oh my God. And it's like, some of these guys I've seen grow up, it's like they were way younger than me, but now they're getting gray and stuff. I'm going, my God. But see, look, they're still in it, right? They're still doing it, and they love it. Absolutely life-changing.
So I'm gonna pick on this one because he said it. People that met at our event. So Yasir, he commented, he talks about doing Green Bay. Yasir met Mike Novak at our last event, and they're partners now. They buy and sell lots all over the US now. And Mike Novak partnered with Yasir. So it's kind of cool seeing relationships made as well from that one instance we had last year. So it's really cool to see. And I'll definitely back John Alexander on that one. There's definitely relationships being made at events like this. It's very cool to see.
Some of my best contacts and best deals and most propelled connections have come from live meetings like that. There's nothing like it. Zoom is great, but it's still not that personal connection you need.
Zoom is great. It's definitely a step up from conference calls, right?
God, yes. But at the time, that's all we had back in the day. I'm so old. I remember when they were invented. It was like, wow, what? You can do a conference call and everybody can get on and talk at the same time? Yes, that's crazy. But we were doing them twice a week, hour trainings every week, every single week. Some of the top guys out there, some of you know Stephen Cook. Stephen Cook was on one of my calls. I still have the recording of that one. I believe it or not, I kept recordings all the way from the 90s. Like you, Daniel, you're keeping a lot of recordings of some of these guys that are here with us, and ladies. Well, my guys are ladies too, but they're gonna take off and they're gonna go to the top of the industry, right? You're gonna say, hey, I remember when we were talking about, well, let me explain this to you. Just like I did with Steven, I was explaining how earnest money works. And now, he's reached hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, over 100,000 people just in his life and ear courses and books that he's put out. He's published a number of books since then, and taught untold others who went on to become gurus. And then those people ended up becoming gurus. So a lot of you guys here will eventually go into also the training side of this. It's a natural extension, because when you want to give, there's no greater way to give than to start teaching other people. And it's a natural, because people are going to ask you, and you're going to want to do it, and you're going to feel great doing it. The feeling is 100 times better than flipping a house. So you want to do both. You got to make the money, and that's on the flipping side of it. And then you get the satisfaction from seeing other people, progress in life and make changes. One of the greatest memories I have is when one of my people said, John, I flipped a couple of deals and I made $18,000. And with that $18,000, we were able to adopt our 2 children, and they adopted them from Ukraine way back in the early 2000s. And I watched them even today. I watched his kids growing up, knowing that those kids are here and enjoying a life here with a family that loves them, because their father learned the business and got in there and did it, made enough money to make that happen. You see that happening over and over.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. You are the benefit of helping families change generational lives is priceless, literally priceless. I feel there's a quote that everybody, not even a quote, but people say this a lot. They feel like they have no value to provide, but just you knowing what you know gives you a step up over everybody else that doesn't know anything. So you have value to provide no matter what stage you are, whether you just started, got your first contract, did your first 3 deals like Santana. You have value to provide to the marketplace no matter what stage you are in. And there's someone out there that needs that next step of inspiration just to even get to the level you're at. So, and you become a better student by teaching. You become a better teacher by teaching.
Oh, you nailed that one for sure, Daniel. You do. You really learn this business when you start teaching other people, because now you're on the hook, right? So you've got to know, and you're constantly wanting to be, you can't afford to be wrong. So you really nail it down. And because you're doing that, you really learn the business really well. So it works for everybody's benefit, yours and theirs.
Yeah. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's amazing to see people flourish though. That's priceless, man. Literally priceless. Do you know like a finite number of how many students you've had direct to you, John Alexander?
Well, I can tell you my courses have gone out to hundreds of thousands of people over the years, mainly because I had, the national reach on television. But, my core people that I taught up until it took off like that, and just with the numbers I can't count, up until that time, it was 14,000. 14,000 were my core people over about 10 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
14,000 people.
And then it took off. I mean, it's in the hundreds of thousands now.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing what you can do when when you determine that you want to do it, a lot of people ask me like, oh, what gives you the ability to speak in front of crowds? I'm like, nobody does. I just went out there and started doing it, and then people showed up.
I was so scared the first time. I was looking for every excuse to cancel and not do it live. That was the scariest thing I remember. Yeah, but once you do it one time, you go, oh, that was nothing. It's amazing what fear can do. It can really paralyze you, but if you let it control. But somebody told me, and this saying has been around forever because it works. To overcome your fear, you just have to face it and go through with it, and you'll see it was never as bad as what you thought it was.
Yeah. There's limitations that your mind puts on you that prevents you from going to the next level, but the truth of the matter of fact is that once you hit that next level, there's another limitation you have to cross and you have to bear just to get to the next level after that. So it's ever combating your personal fear. It never goes away.
Where did you first do a public speaking at, Daniel?
The Hive Mind event. I've never done public speaking.
Oh my God! Wow! Congratulations.
So
scary.
It was, but the craziest thing about it, and I say this all the time, is that I was actually afraid of speaking and leading anything before I started doing these calls. When I started doing these calls, it gave me the ability to podcast. And when I did the podcasting, you kind of come up with your own internal script. Whether somebody's having a conversation with you or not, you kind of carry a conversation. And then we do the Hive Mind event, and I'm like, okay, now I'm actually live in front of 80 people. Let's see how this goes. And what's crazy after that is that in February, I spoke in front of 300 people. So it's just like, now it's escalating.
Yeah, and that's like starting all over again from scratch, right?
It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even that bad. And it was just one of those things where like I've practiced for a year now that I'm ready for this now. This is the next stage. It's the next stage. So it's kind of interesting overcoming your own fears of that you thought you would never do, There's a power in that.
The growth, there is a lot of power in that. And then you also each of us here, when we surmount a fear like that, remember that if you have children, your children are watching, and when they see that you can do something, then they kind of automatically think they can. It helps that they can do it also, and this slips right in there. My son did the same thing. He did his first presentation before realtors to give them like a pitch on what we were doing, which were buying notes. And he was the same way, scared, got in there. And he says to me even today, because he does a lot of speaking now, he says, Dad, that when you because I kind of had to force him to go do it, right? And he says, that was the best thing you ever did, that because that made like a difference in his career today, by pushing him there and got him over the initial fear. And they tore him up, by the way. It was not a pretty sight. These realtors, as cruel as they were, tore him up, and I didn't think he'd ever go back. And he says, well, what do I do now? I said, you go right back into it and do it again. Basically, if you don't, you'll never get up before people again. So he did, and it was nowhere near bad the second time. He says it can't get any worse than the first time. And that was his attitude from then on.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. So your son does speaking engagements now. He does the note side. Is he like your partner on the note side that you're doing now?
No. He actually he's done a lot of real estate, over the years, but he decided he wanted to do healthcare, mental health care. So he's a clinician. So he does he does therapy work with people. So, but like all of his, professors and other people will invite him to go speak, because he's a very eloquent speaker now. And he's also very good at what he does. And he since when your children grow up watching you, they become entrepreneurs. And so he
Yeah.
brought that side to the business. And while all of his graduating class that he graduated, they're still working for other people. He's already got his own practice going.
That's
And
amazing.
now already he's thinking about, okay, I got to buy real estate and put my offices in there and then rent them out to other therapists. I mean, that's where your children can take it. That's why you can give them such a big head start on everybody else when they grow up watching what you do. So it's really important what you do.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I hope my kids, because I hope my kids see that. The reason why I record everything that I do, and this is for everybody here, is that I hope my kids one day will see who I was back then when they were younger, you know. And it's kind of cool leaving like a digital footprint, a digital roadmap of the progression of who I am. That I would, no matter what stage they remember me at, I was never there. I started back when they were born. So I hope they can see the growth over the years, and that's why I record everything. It's mostly for them.
That's a cool way of doing it. It truly is. And it gives them like a history of their dad.
Yeah, and you have a lot of conversations that you can actually, you might not be privy to it, but you can actually go back and listen to that it'd be like a digital blog, a business blog that I'm leaving to my kids. Is on HiveMindCRM.com on YouTube. It's interesting.
But don't be disappointed when they don't want to walk in your footsteps. They have,
Oh no,
they're gonna have their own dreams, but the tools they get from being an entrepreneur and watching you be an entrepreneur, they see you, how you handle the problems that come along and how you can overcome them, and then they automatically have it. It's like they don't have to kind of go through what we had to do. So
yeah, I want them, and like I said, hopefully I'm planning to bring my kids to the Fort Lauderdale event, so I want them to experience stuff with me too, through all stages, because it's definitely a thing to see, and I never had the opportunity to see it, so I want to make sure my kids see it too.
Daniel, I want to add one more thing to the event, because this is what happens too, because you don't see this right now, guys. You really don't see it right now. But some of the people that you're going to meet at the event are going to take off in this industry, and they're going to become leaders themselves. And guess who they remember? They remember you, and you remember them, and some of you will be leaders. But I'm just saying, you're going to end up having great contacts. And then those people, as they get to these extra layers, guess who they favor more? You go to them, they're going to want to help you. They're going to want to do whatever. So no matter where you are on the scale, you're still, doing down here or you go up here, you'll always have these connections. And some of these guys will be greats. And that's exactly what I remember happening. So a lot of the big guys today, they were just starting out. They just got into business. You're meeting them when they're there. So you have this really close connection. It's like, well, we grew up like brothers. That's the kind of connection you get with people like that. And then you always have the safety net. It's there forever.
I think it's amazing, because you remember who was in the trenches with you. And I think what's crazy is, like, even from I'm thinking, like, in my head, I'm thinking of, while you're saying that, I'm thinking of your perspective. Like, you've seen what we've done in 13 months since you met us. I met John Alexander probably like 15 months ago. We started.
I know you guys are the fastest growing group I've ever seen in my life doing this business, and successful. So your group as a whole is probably the most successful group I've ever seen too. It's amazing, and I'm proud to be a part of it. The little part that I am, but you guys are mainly you and Anthony and the people who are reaching out, DeAndre, Frank's. I've known Frank for years. You guys have really, really done something great here.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited because we just begun. We've just begun. You don't know the impact you can make by just creating and doing. Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead, Bob. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I thought he was going to jump in. Go ahead, John.
Sorry, that was an accident. Bumped the bumped the phone with my finger there. There's a fire on the side of the highway.
Oh man, be careful.
Yeah, the homeless here in Colorado Springs are trying to stay warm. And I think that's probably what happened.
Oh, it's a bonfire. No, man. I appreciate everybody here. I really do. Like I said, me, John, Anthony, we really want much success from out of all of you. If you guys need anything, feel free to reach out. We want you to see you succeed because you guys are in the trenches with us. Just like John Alexander said. You guys are in the trenches with us right now, and by no means are we leaving you behind. You are coming with us. And I hope all of you understand that. So we appreciate you all. Man, this is a great conversation. Does anybody have anybody need help or anything? Anybody have a win they want to cover? I know John Alexander kind of took over the win part. Anybody have a win, or if you need help, any questions you want to ask, feel free to ask it now. This calls are here for you. We give up our time to provide value to you directly, and we don't take that lightly. So if you guys have a question, put in the chat, raise your hand, unmute yourself. We are here to help.
Well, at the moment, still working on the 420 acres. So just walked the land today.
You walked it today?
Huh? Yeah, just walked it today. Following the sell for the first time. It's like
awesome. Where's this property at?
East Bernard.
What state is that?
Oh, Texas. Yeah.
That's East Bernard, Texas. I never heard of that one. That's a new one. Congratulations, man. What was your disposition of the seller when you spoke to them?
Oh, what do you mean?
Were they excited to sell the property? Were they?
They're looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's always good. As long as they're upbeat and ready to move, it's good.
Hey, Chris, this is Justin.
Hey, what's up?
How are you, man? Hey, just to let you know, I think I told you this a while back, but I have a really good friend of mine who's a land broker in the area, and he specializes in that area, and he has some really, really big buyers. So when you get to that stage, ping me. You have my number.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And also I'm looking for some other land in Lissy, Texas as well.
Yeah, it's the same general area, man. I grew up over there, so yeah, my buddy has some really, like, seriously, some really big buyers. So, you know, and I mean, I'll just connect you with them, and y'all go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for participating today. It's awesome. Big things coming out of you. Big expectations. So don't take these. What should I do to get started? Ty, can you talk? Yeah, get over your fear of speaking. Where you should get started is start marketing. Everybody struggles with how to find a deal. If you do enough marketing, you'll trip over a deal. So however, night time for the kids. Okay, I gotcha. You have to start marketing, whether it's driving for dollars, pulling a list. You have to start marketing in general. So if you're going for land, maybe pull a list, or do, like I said, look for vacant properties in the area. Like you said, it really depends if you're in the city or not. But it's just finding motivated sellers. You have to talk to a lot of people to find enough motivated sellers to even get a contract. So that's the number one thing, is if you find enough motivated sellers, if you start talking to them, you will get a deal. That is the short answer. Thanks, appreciate coming, Justin. Have a great night. But yeah, the short answer is just marketing, man. Whatever you can afford, texting, calling, whatever list you can get a hold of, partnering. Bob got a deal just for listening in one of these conversations about somebody having a property in his area, and ended up making $5,000 just for helping out somebody else. So there's money to be made just by listening and watching and marketing as a whole. Go ahead, Yusir.
Yeah, just to say, not sure which area Ty wants to focus on or is focusing on, but I have some leads that I can pass on. They didn't work for me because either it's not land that meets the size or value that I want, but may work for somebody else. So if you hit me, Ty, I can pass you some leads that may fit what you're looking for.
There you go. Partner with people like Yasir. Yasir's doing deals all over the US. Are you working in the Carolinas at all, Yasir?
Yes, yes. Actually, we have 3 lots in North Carolina right now, and I'm sure I have some leads in that state as well. So, yeah. Hit me up. I have leads for every state, basically. So.
All right, he put his email in the chat. Yasir.
All right.
Thanks,
All right.
Yasir, man. Yasir's always a go-giver. We appreciate Yasir for participating and contributing to the community. It's awesome to see, man. I appreciate you, Yasir. For sure. You're not taken lightly.
All right, man.
I really appreciate everybody's time coming out these calls. There's different information in every call, and you never know what you're gonna miss by missing it. So you never know what connection is gonna be made in the chat, just like Ty and Yasir right here. So don't underestimate these connections.